Waiting for Coach Solich to.
Okay, very good.
Here you are, Coach. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes,
good. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining us this morning, Coach. And yesterday I had the West Division coaches on, as you may know, and I just asked the question of everyone to start things off here. We're finally here, and we're finally going to be getting ready for a football game, or getting ready for a football game currently on Wednesday night. How's that feel to you and your guys just to have that opportunity?
I think it feels great for everyone. Obviously, there was a lot that went on leading up to the first game. I think our guys adjusted really well to everything that they had to face, and so they're ready to play. I'm sure Central's ready to play, and everybody in the MAC. We've been watching as a MAC conference. We've been watching a lot of football being played, and now it's our turn to get us started.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Coach. And again, if you have a question for Coach Solich, please use the raise hand feature, and we'll get to those questions. First, we'll start off with Christian. Again, if you could announce your name and your news outlet, that'd be great. Christian, your microphone is open.
I'm Christian Boer. I'm with Central Michigan Life. Frank, Chippewas bring back a lot of playmakers on the offensive side. What are you going to do defensively to keep guys like Pimpleton and Sullivan in check?
Well, you are correct there. They do bring back a lot of guys. All their receivers are returning, which is, and they've got really a great group there. And so it's going to be difficult to really completely halt them. I think we'll attempt to slow them down some, hopefully. We'll just see how the game goes. You never know on the first game of the year. I do know that, they have 5 all-conference players coming back. 4 of them were first-team all-conference players. So obviously a lot of talent on the football team, and we'll just see how it goes for us. We've got a group that is talented, but we're inexperienced at some spots. Other spots we have good experience. So we'll see how that all mixes in for us and how that all plays out for us. But should be a great ball game. We're looking forward to it.
Next, we'll go to Chris Vanini. Chris, your microphone is open.
Hey, Coach. Chris Vanini from The Athletic. How you doing?
I'm fine, Chris. You?
I am good. First question: how do you feel about quarterback? Obviously, a big question with Nathan. With Nathan gone.
Yeah, we got very comfortable with Nathan taking the snaps. Of course, he did a great job for us. No question about him helping us be what we were offensively, really the last 3 years, and putting points on the board, getting a lot of statistics in categories that were really pretty impressive. And so with that being said, we're going to be breaking into new quarterbacks into our system right now. Curtis Rourke is in a battle with Armani Rogers. Armani's a transfer. Curtis is Nathan's younger brother. They're both playing really well. Nathan is a guy that can throw the ball really, really well, probably a little bit better than his brother. Maybe not quite the runner that his brother is, but he's great at movement in the pocket and excellent at running. But throwing is probably his main deal. You look at Armani, and it just kind of reverses there a little bit. Armani's a great runner, and he's really developing into an excellent thrower. So we're going to have 2 talented quarterbacks. They're just going to be inexperienced.
And defensively, you bring almost everybody back on the starters. Do you expect that group to take a step forward this year?
Yeah, I think we played really well at the end of the year. So hopefully that's going to continue the progress that those guys made as the season went along. If we can just start with that and then just start getting better and better as the year goes on this season, we can have ourselves a pretty good defensive football team. Got pretty good team speed. I've been real impressed with what that's been about. We've got really good depth at some spots and better than good at some spots. So looking forward to seeing how this group really meshes and plays together. So as a group, I think we've got talent, and I think we've got good team speed, and they're an aggressive group. So hopefully that all plays out well for us.
Next, we'll go to Adam Jaxa. Adam, your microphone is open.
Hey, Frank, Adam Jaxa with Chippewa Sports Network.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Mack, and I know you have mentioned your guys' relationship and respect for each other, but just wondering if you could kind of give us some back history. What is your relationship with Coach Mack, and why do you respect him as a head coach?
Well, I've been able to really follow his career. Obviously, you look at where he's been, what he's accomplished. He's been a guy that I think has shown really well in terms of how he handles players, how he treats players. I think there's a lot of respect for him as a coach around the country. So that, it's just he's a guy that I think gets a lot done, and sometimes with guys that maybe weren't the most talented. Sometimes guys that were the most talented. But he's proven to be really a very, very fine coach. And the little that I know him, really the times we've been together at different functions concerning MAC conferences, so forth, he's really been an outstanding person. So like what he's all about at all level of things.
Next, we're going to go to Eric Quiakowski. Eric, your microphone is open.
Good morning, Coach. How are you this morning?
Eric, I'm doing okay.
Just talk a little bit about, the platform you get to play on Wednesday night. You get to start off on ESPN. Just talk about that opportunity for you and your players a little bit. Yeah,
I think it definitely excites players anytime they get a chance to be on a national platform. ESPN, our guys are so familiar with ESPN, and obviously with very little people being in the stands, it's important that you do get a chance to showcase yourself in front of people, and by getting on TV, you're doing that. And it's great for obviously people around the country who want to follow Central Michigan and Ohio football, but it's also great for the parents of kids, because we recruit nationwide, and obviously parents in this day and age would struggle to get here for a game and even get in the games. So it's great to be able to for them to see their son on TV, and it gives us a chance to showcase Ohio football and what Ohio University is all about. So we're excited about the opportunity.
Well, Coach, want to thank you again for your time this morning. Let you get back to it, and best of luck this upcoming season, and look forward to seeing you Wednesday night.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from Lance Leipold, head coach of the Buffalo Bulls. Bring on Coach. All right. Hey, Coach, how you doing this morning?
Doing well, Jeremy. How are you?
Doing fine, thanks. Thanks for joining us this morning. Take a little time to take a few questions from the media. Again, just your thoughts getting ready for a game. What are we, 5 days away now? Your thoughts on how things are going with your team leading up to them.
Yeah, it's like many of us we've been long overdue of excitement of getting this thing kicked off. very pleased with the attitude and efforts of our team since we started this camp type setting, balancing everything that's been asked of them, a lot of new routines, and yeah, when it's time to go to work and do the things that they need to do to get ready, they've done an excellent job. So, you know, like any first game, you're kind of waiting to see what you know how it all unveils and where you're really truly at as a team, and I think that'll be very true for us as well.
Great. Again, a reminder, use the raise hand feature if you have a question, and please give your name and outlet when I call on you. Steve, your microphone is open.
Steve Helwick, Hustle Belt. Hello, Coach. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great. So at the end of last year, you guys decided to ramp up the rushing production, giving more carries to Jarrett Patterson and Kevin Marks while passing fewer times, and you had success with that. Is that something we can expect to see this year, or do you have more of a balance, a mentality entering this season?
Well, we want to be more balanced. I think that's one of the things that you kind of go through, that, you know, you play to your strengths and you do the things that can help you win football games. But at the end of the year, when we look at ourselves as a whole, our offensive philosophy has always been that we want to try to be as balanced as we possibly can, but at the same time, take advantage of our athletes and what we can do successfully. And with a veteran offensive line last year and 2 quality running backs, it just kind of played out that way. And but we know if we want to be the type of team we want to be, balance and spreading the ball around and not just pass the ball more. You know, we have to have other targets, more consistent targets other than Antonio Nunn as well, and make people defend the whole field on us.
All right. Next, we go to Rachel Lindsay. Rachel, your microphone is open.
Hi, Lance. Thanks for taking the time this morning. I want to find out, just in general, what is the strength of your team as it enters this season, and where do you want to see improvement as the short season progresses?
Excellent question. I think part of it I maybe touched on already. I think the strengths of our football team is in the backfield, and the production of our 2 running backs. I think the unknown is going to be some of the newcomers into the offensive line, and are we going to be able to be the more diverse in the passing game? I think that's something that is probably pretty evident to anybody that's breaking us down. Defensively, I like to think our front 7 at least on paper is still gonna be a solid group. And I think obviously on the end is the experience that we have coming back completely in the secondary. You look at our bowl game last year, we lost to Priya Washington in the game, and Ali Abbas stepped in as a young man who hadn't played a lot in our program and played extremely well, led us in tackles. And it kind of gave you a boost again in losing Dev Russell, the experience of safety of a Tyrone Hill and his leadership. And I think the strengths, when you go back to we talk a lot about our defensive ends, but I still go inside with Eddie Wilson, Tyrese Woods, Ron McGee gives us some returning experience at defensive tackle. So, and then again, the linebacker crew of James Patterson, Tim Terry, Gaddafi Ryder are 3 players that have played a lot of football for us. So I think those things are there. We return our specialists, but again, as you were on yesterday as well, we have to find ways to be more productive in the special teams area, return wise, and of course, in consistently punting and kicking the ball.
All right, next we'll go to Eric Quiakowski. Eric, go
Morning,
ahead.
Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well, Eric. How are you this morning?
I'm fantastic. Just talk a little bit about, building some momentum off the season you had last year. I know you got your first bowl win in program history. Just talk about using that momentum to look forward and building on this season.
Yeah, I think anytime you can do something for the first time in school history is something that carries you internally in your program and confidence. propels you into your winter program, your spring football, helps you in recruiting, all those things. And we've taken those steps to build towards consistency. 2018, was a very good year for us, but didn't end very strong. And one of those obstacles is our first opponent this year. We had a lot of good things, double-digit wins, but we didn't play well down the stretch. So that momentum and other things, and after the season, really didn't give us much to hang our hat on. Where this time around, you could see the difference, just how guys are carrying themselves on a daily basis, and where it goes in as far as that confidence was heading in our program. Then through the pandemic and the postponement of the season and all those things, it kind of took a step back. Everybody goes home, they're not around each other. Then the season's, like I said, canceled. It's taken us a little bit to kind of get that juice back. And now that we approach kickoff, I start seeing that happening.
Yeah, and just a follow-up. I mean, you've developed into such a consistently winning team. You've won 24 games over the last 3 seasons. What has it kind of taken to build that consistency?
Well, I think it's the plan from the day we were hired. I say this, then athletic director Danny White, when I visited with him about the job, his intentions were clear that he wanted to build a consistent winner. And I felt that was something that we wanted to take on as a challenge and as part of what we had done at other places. And that's consistently doing things and doing the little things right, recruiting in a way that you can develop players, develop depth. Never perfect, a lot of bumps in the road, but we continue to strive for that, and hopefully we can take another step as a program. I know I followed, when I just logged on, I saw Coach Solich. I mean, I don't know if there's a better example over time in this conference than really the job that he's done, and I'm not afraid to say is that when it came down to the deeper parts of the conversations with the time, I said that would be a goal for ours. If we would start to build a program that would be on the consistency that you've seen in an Ohio University football program, and having a chance to work for Frank, I think there's probably a few small things that we can copy in what he does. And that's just the day-to-day consistency and how you go about your work. And I think we're starting to hit that stride.
Time for one more question. If there's anything for Coach Leipold, just use the raise hand feature and I'll get to you. Coach, I'll ask that final question. I mean, I know you talked about Jared a little, but with so much hype around him and the watch lists and everything over the summer, what are just the overall expectations for a guy like that who has done so much already?
We keep striving. As some people have been able to see, Jared not only is a great player and and special in his own right, he's even more special off the field, and his passion and how he goes about things. And everybody wants, and I'm sure everybody has one that they can relate to in their program. But he does so much for us. He's one of our best practice players. He goes about it right. But I think what you want to do is just keep playing with the approach that he has. He doesn't have to try to do anything more than what he's been doing for us. He needs to take what's there and don't put any extra pressure on himself that doesn't need to be there. He has a great complement in Kevin Marks. We feel we have other depth at that position. So hopefully we keep him fresh and healthy along the way. And of course, we can find ways to diversify his game and find ways to put the ball in his hands even more so. It will help us out. So, there's a lot of things, and I kind of alluded to earlier is, when you're breaking in some new offensive linemen, it's a culmination of a lot of things. And we've got to make sure that we stay with our plan and in the run game, and he stays consistent with it, and I'm sure he will.
Great. Well, Coach, I want to thank you again for your time, and best of luck this upcoming season. We'll see you Wednesday night.
Appreciate it very much. Have a great day.
We will now bring on Coach Lewis, Kent State football. Great. We got you there, Coach.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
Good, good. Thanks for making time this morning. I know you came right off the practice field.
Yes, sir.
Talk about, getting ready for this upcoming game on Wednesday after so much time of, not knowing what was going to happen and just what that means not only to the student athletes, but the coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tremendous opportunity, and we're thrilled and grateful for the opportunity to play. Obviously, when news first came down, there was a piece of probably everyone in our Flash Fast family that felt like something was missing. And now having this opportunity back in front of us and having a slate of games and these opportunities to go chase and have our goals back in front of us to go chase and to work towards day in and day out gives us a renewed sense of purpose. And I tell you what, I think everyone's probably learned through this whole year that, every day that you get to be around the people that you love, doing the things that you love, that's a great opportunity to have. And we're going to just look to maximize every single opportunity that we get to play and compete and to be a part of this great conference.
Great. And once again, if you have a question for Coach Lewis, use the raise hand feature and we'll call on you. We'll first go to Eric. Eric, go ahead and your microphone is open.
Hey, Coach, how are you this morning?
Doing great, Eric. How are you?
Fantastic. Just talk a little bit about the development Dustin has had over the last, year and a half. We saw him kind of explode onto the scene, and obviously that big bowl win against Utah State last year. Just talk about his development and what you've seen from him this camp.
Yeah, I mean, just consistently good in everything that he's been doing, really, ever since, the opportunity came, and really before the opportunity came and presented itself for him to become the guy when we, made him the starter against Kennesaw State. Day in and day out, he's gone about his business the right way. Really has dove into this offseason, learning more of the nuances of our system. He's kind of going through, obviously, into year 3 and all the different iterations of the installations. He's able to really look at it from a different mindset than, say, like a Griffin Brewster, obviously, who's a true freshman and hearing everything for the first time. So, he's done a really good job having a deeper understanding of the how and the why we do things and why we might be calling things in certain situations. So I think that's going to allow him to play even more confidently and with more conviction going forward into this season.
Thank you, Eric. All right. Again, if there's any questions, please use the raise hand feature. Steve, your microphone is open.
Steve Helwick, Hustlebelt. How are you doing today, Coach?
Doing good, Steve.
You're down 21 to Buffalo last year in the fourth quarter. Come back, win that game, and you haven't lost a game since. Did you feel like your program turned a corner that night? And if so, can you still feel the momentum in October 2020 or November 2020, even though it was so long ago?
The first part of your question, I felt like we were very, very close for a very, very long time. We had 8 one-possession games a year ago, and the Toledo game the week before, the Miami of Ohio game, the Ohio game, they were all one-possession games where we just came up a little bit short, but learned very valuable lessons that we were able to apply then to really push through. And I think that Buffalo game gave everyone in our building a sense of belief, a sense of purpose in the way that we were doing things. And the guys did a great job, from the staff and the players and everyone through the building of really just believing in our process and day in and day out, improving and then showing up and performing when we needed to. And then they had a little bit of juice, obviously, to finish out the season the right way. When we got back in January, we ceremonially ripped the rearview mirror off and have been looking forward because this is the unique challenge that we all face year in and year out, is that this is a brand new set of characters. We lost a lot of good football players, guys who played a bunch for us that were cornerstones of the program that we built. But the legacy that they laid down and the foundation that they laid down is something that we can build off of going forward. And they're shining examples for the kids who need to step up as we go forward. So I like where we're at, but obviously it's been a long time since we got in between the white lines for all of us. And it's one thing to like where we're at when we're going against one another, but you got to go see how you compete against the rest of the league when the lights come on.
Thank you, Steve. Jason, your microphone is open, Jason.
Hey, Coach. With the pandemic this year, you guys don't have the usual slate of bye games. Is a part of you enjoy that opportunity or that chance? Because I think the impression of Kent State over the last 10 years or so is you guys are usually pretty beat up once conference play begins because of the non-conference schedule. Not the case this year. You guys relishing that opportunity to just dive into conference play fresh?
I mean, I've always embraced the opportunity, ever since we got here, that we get to play anyone, anytime, anywhere. We came out of last season in our non-conference, which I would argue was probably, one of the toughest in the country, relatively healthy. So and we were able to do what we did. So I look at the success that we're going to have is really how we handle our business day in and day out. And then come game day, we give the opponent that we're going to have the respect that they deserve and that they've earned, obviously, to prepare and do what we need to be prepared to play at our best. But our success comes down to things that we can control, that if we limit our mistakes and we don't beat ourselves, so we give ourselves a chance to win. If we have the ability to stop the run and run the football, and we have the more physical cover units come Wednesday night, I think we're going to have a great chance to win regardless of who we're playing.
Coach, I'll ask something here. Just what are the challenges in just keeping things in a routine of normalcy when, anything can just change or stop on a dime? Just how have you been dealing with that over time and looking ahead? I mean, anything can change moving forward. How do you keep everyone focused?
We got a simple phrase around here that I stole from Coach Babers when I came over from Syracuse, called KYKB, keep your knees bent. And we've been saying that since day one. And so because of that mindset, because of that belief that things can pivot, it's really having just a sudden change mindset to anything that could occur. So we've kind of have some controlled chaos and controlled, craziness every single day since we've been here. Obviously, this is a whole new level that everyone has been feeling this year. But, it's truly just take it day by day and be like water. Go with the flow, adapt. Don't be so rigid and so dug in your ways that you're going to get snapped off. And I tell you what, we have incredibly resilient kids, and I'm always impressed and blown away by them and humbled to be their head coach. But through all this, the way they've handled everything and how resilient and flexible that they've been with all the things that we've asked them to do, I tell you what, they've been a real shining example for Kent State University, and we're very, very proud of them.
Sure. And just the last thing here is just having that opportunity. Everyone knows us with our brand of playing those midweek games and having the opportunity, the whole month to kind of showcase all of our teams. And with a lot of the pro sports now wrapping up and the MAC will be on full display, what does that mean to you guys?
It's an awesome opportunity. It's one of the things that, we use heavily in recruiting to showcase, our kids. And obviously this league, we have tremendous athletes, student athletes that do exceptional things on and off the field. I think we have exceptional coaches that, you've had the opportunity to talk to yesterday and today, and just humbled to be a part of this league and eager to showcase the product that we have and to, put that in a very positive light, and looking forward and just humbled that the Flash Fast family gets to be a part of that.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for taking a little time this morning to talk with some of the media, and best of luck this upcoming season. We'll see you Wednesday night.
Appreciate it. Go Flashes.
Next, we will bring on head coach of the Miami Redhawks, Chuck Martin.
You guys got me?
Yeah, Coach, we got you. Thanks for joining in this morning. Really appreciate it. First, I've been asking every coach that's come on here yesterday and today, just, that we're finally here and getting ready for a game next week. What does that mean to you, your kids, everyone in the program?
Yeah, it's really, really appreciative of the opportunity, everything that this year's brought us, and the starting, the stopping, spring ball getting canceled, getting sent home from school, not knowing when you're going to come back in the summer, just getting ready to start fall camp, put it on hold, and then all our individual COVID, what we've dealt with within our program or on our campus, all throughout all of this. And then getting the opportunity, hearing that you're going to get to play, and then it's finally here and you're a few days away from, not only getting to play, but we're jumping right in the middle of the MAC season. I'm trying to convince my team it's week 7. It's not week 1, where there's only 6 weeks left, and we all but just appreciative. We've been appreciative of practicing and coaching and practice and playing just because it feels a little normal, that the time you're out on the field's the only part of the day that does feel normal, even though you're making certain considerations out there. But so we're excited, and didn't look like we were gonna get this opportunity. And then the league and the presidents, decided to give us this opportunity, and we're certainly more appreciative than ever of having the opportunity to play and coach football.
Great. And again, if you have a question for Coach, use the raise hand feature and give your outlet when I call on you. Steve, your microphone is open.
Steve Helwick, Hustlebelt. How are you doing today, Coach?
We're doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So earlier on in the fall, we had Tommy and Danny opt out of the season and declare for the NFL draft. What was their mentality to decide to return to Miami this season and play out with the Red Hawks when there's a lot of uncertainty?
Yeah, and Manny too. Manny Regumba also had opted out, and so he's the third one. That's a good question. I didn't really, when we decided to play, I just reached out to him and said, listen, I totally understand if you still want to stay opting out, and I totally respect that. That's between you and your family. But I just want to make sure you know that if you did want to opt back in, we'd love to have you, and we wouldn't, So they just kind of talked it over, but I think really all three of them was kind of a no-brainer. They're planning on playing this fall, and then the fall season was, canceled, and they decided, well, we're not really, with the draft being kind of right during the spring season, we're not going to do that. But I think they more had the mindset that, hey, if we're playing the fall, my plan was to play in the fall all along. So I think they just said, let's go. We wanted to do this, but we didn't think we were going to get a chance. So I think it was kind of as simple as that.
Eric, we will go to you next. Your microphone is open.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Miami was, 5-0 last season in one-score games. Kind of talk about what that says about your team and the confidence you have in them in tight situations.
Yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard to do what we did last year. Any year, our league, a lot of times, or most of the time, there's not an undefeated team in our league because there's so many close games. There was, most of our league, you get thrown in a hat last year and said anybody could beat anyone. I mean, you're talking about almost the entire league, maybe not the entire league, but pretty close to everybody in the league was about the same. And, everybody went through what we went through. Everybody played close games, and our kids and our coaching staff obviously did a very good job of playing well in key situations down the stretch because we came from behind a lot. And a lot of times we were down at halftime. We were down in the third quarter. And I think our kids, we have experienced kids, particularly on defense a year ago, not really on offense, but had been through games like that before and understand like, hey, you got to keep plugging away. You're not going to win games 40-15 in this league. You're going to have to win close games. And if you don't play well in the fourth quarter, you're not going to win. And right down to the MAC championship game, you're down 14-10 at half, and they had just driven down and scored, and they got the ball to start the second half, and you got 57 yards of offense in the whole first half. And you're like, hey, this is kind of like every other game during the year. It's not this league. If you can't accept the bad plays in this league, you're going to have a hard time winning. It's easy to accept the good plays, and it's easy to fight for the good plays. But in this league, you have to be able to fight through the highs and lows of every week. And then you win one week and it doesn't look much different the next. It's not like you have a couple halves at the top of the league, and there's a couple big games to get hyped up for. And then a bunch of other games, you're going to roll the team by 40, and you only have to focus. In this league, you just got to keep plugging away and keep grinding through. And, not only did we win them, we were an underdog in almost every one of them. And usually the underdog doesn't win the close game. So it was an amazing thing to be a part of and to watch our kids and coaches just continue to battle and fight and find ways to win close games and win. Our schedule was against us, It was very much loaded at the beginning of the year, was our hardest opponents. We had all the road games, we had big road games that you had to win, and our kids and our coaches did a great job with it. So the tough thing is now, do they think it's just going to happen again? No, you gotta re-go through it this year and figure out a way to win close games again.
And Coach, I have a follow-up actually on that once you said a couple things, but just to note that if you do have a question for Coach, use the raise hand feature and we'll get to you. I'm asking a few coaches here and there. Just we're going to be coming back in Maction season, right, in November, and midweek games and everything. You guys are going to be playing on CBS. Just the ability to, now that we are starting back up, to have all eyes back on the conference. What that means to you and the rest of the coaches.
Yeah, I'm probably one of the few people that love it. Like, I always can't wait for it to get to midweek and get to practice on the weekends. And I always tell my team, unfortunately, I'm a loser and I don't have anything else in my life other than this. So the fact that today is Tuesday for us and I get a Friday after school practice and there's no 6 o'clock classes today, that we have no time constraints. We can practice, and then we get to have Wednesday on a Saturday and Thursday on a Sunday. Like, I love it. My kid asked me today, like, hey, because we usually start to sometimes sleep in the office during Maction, hey, were you going to sleep in the office? I said, well, I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that with COVID, but typically we kind of hunker down for this home stretch in MAC play. The exposure for the league's incredible. Obviously, the money we get from ESPN is awesome for all our institutions. And then you can't buy, a 3-hour commercial to promote your team and your program. And, we've been fortunate. We've been on TV a bunch the last few years, and we've played some epic battles, that some we've come on the right side, some we haven't, but it's still, playing OU as the only game in town, on the 200th anniversary and being part of that game. And then, and again, it being such a great football game where it came down to, one play at the end does a lot for the league and does a lot for our individual programs. So I love it. I wish we had some non-league games first to get ready for league play. We don't this year. We're starting in week 7, but I love the midweek stuff, and I know what it does for our program and for our league.
Sure. It just triggered it when Eric or you gave your answer about, every game's close and you don't know. And it speaks when those games come on the midweek that it's great to see, because you really don't, and keeps eyes on the TV. I know a lot of people will be watching. Eric, gonna open up your microphone once again here.
Yeah, Coach, you kind of just touched on the success that you've had. You're 23-8 in your last 31 games against MAC schools. Just talk about continuing that success this season and what you expect from your team.
Yeah, no, it's been hard. Again, we were 4-26 before that run in MAC play, so it's come full circle for us. But we've even last year we got better and better, and we know that these games will be close. We know they're going to be tough. We know the other teams are really well coached, and we know they have a lot of good players just like us. There's so much balance in this league. So I think our 6 years of experience, and most of my staff has been with me for 6 years. We've had next to no turnover on our staff. That continuity has helped us, that we really understand what this league is all about and how to win in this league. But it's what makes this league great. I don't know how many times I've left the building late at night after one of these midweek games, and I see the ESPN truck and I see the guys that say, well, we did it again. We put, whether we won or lost, we put together a good show, and it was right down to the wire. And it was on a Tuesday night, if it's a blowout, people are going to bed because they got to work tomorrow. The only thing that keeps them close to the TV is the games have been close. So we've been a part of a lot of close ones. And fortunately, the last few years we've been able to win them. So we know when we get MAC play, we don't feel like we're better than any team in this league, but we do feel like now we're as good as any of them. So now it comes down to who plays better and who executes better and who perseveres, and we're happy we're to that point. We don't think we're better than you, but we think we're as good as any team we play in this league. And we've proven that to be with the best record in the league over the last 4 years.
Okay, well, hey, Coach, the time frame is up here. So I want to, again, thanks for joining us this morning, and best of luck this upcoming season. We'll see you Wednesday night.
Perfect. Thanks.
Take care. Now we'll hear from Bowling Green head coach Scott Leffler. Put me on here, Coach. Coach Leffler, how you doing?
Hey, Jeremy, how are you doing? Sorry, I just ran off the field here, so apologize
you're fine.
for the dress, and obviously it's Toledo week. I haven't shaved, so.
Well, hey, it's a sprint to these first games. Everyone understands that all busy as we get to Wednesday night, but that leads into the question I've been leading off things with every coach is just to get ready for a game and to start the season, I guess, in you just alluded to, with your rival, to start things off, just how important to you, your players, and everyone in the program to, not just be playing football, but to be taking on your rival week one?
Well, first off, I can't tell you enough how grateful I am for our commissioner, the MAC, all the presidents, all the coaches that were able to put this thing together to give us a chance to play. And it's been a very emotional up and down year. And, having the ability to go out and play football, I think it's good for all the universities. I think it's good for, all the Midwest states. And I'm very grateful for all the hard work by our commissioner, the Mid-American Conference, our presidents, and all the coaches in this league. We got great coaches in this league, great people. And we're very excited to have the opportunity to play. We're a young organization here that's trying to rebuild, very similar to Chuck's team. Chuck started his team out at Miami of Ohio, very similar to how we're starting. And we're going to look back, whenever we're going to have that opportunity to be a competitive championship team, we're going to look back at this COVID year and really be thankful for the opportunity to move the needle of our program.
Great. Again, if you have a question for Coach Leffler, please use the raise hand feature. And please give your name and news outlet when I call you. We'll go first to Todd Walker. Todd, your microphone is open.
Coach, good afternoon. It's Todd Walker, Falcon Sports Radio Network. You talked about building the program. This extra time, although you couldn't practice and everything during all of that time, has any one unit on your team benefited more from just the extra time on the calendar to get ready physically for this season? You're playing so many young guys.
Yeah, the advantage that we had with the COVID season, I would say, from March all the way through August, was I think the kids had a great opportunity to learn the playbook. Our kids really know what to do. The negative is that, not being able to play spring football, not being able to have a true training camp, the physical aspects, particularly with the young players, we're behind in. And we're in catch-up time, but just like I said to Jeremy earlier, we're going to look back at this 6-game stretch that we have, and when it's our time to be competitive, very similar to Chuck's team down there at Miami of Ohio, we're going to look back and we're going to go, wow, our young players really benefited from these 6 weeks. So the positive about the COVID thing from a football end is that our young players learn the playbook. The negative aspect is that, we were just so limited on the physical skills, the contact. You still have to play football with your hands and your feet and bend and hit people. And that part of it, we're playing catch up with. And everyone across the country is doing that. But playing as many young guys as we're playing, there's nothing to fall back on. They have no experience of what the physicality of a big time Division I program is supposed to be like.
Coach, let's talk about Toledo. Last year, you beat the Rockets. Things were restored to the right way of the universe. Have you noticed a different mentality from your team preparing for the rivalry game this year as opposed to last year?
Well, I told our team this. I will never forget the Tuesday practice of Toledo and the Wednesday practice of Toledo last year was god-awful. Zero emotion, zero urgency. Was not the way that we're accustomed to playing a big-time game. And for the first time, and it's baby steps, our kids practice today with the emotion, the intensity that it's supposed to be like. And the Toledo week is different, but I'm trying to, and our coaches are trying to stress upon our players that every week, January 28th, whenever we're lifting weights at 6 o'clock in the morning, it needs to be that type of urgent. That's what championship programs are. And, but we made baby steps today. Today we practiced 1,000 miles an hour. The intensity was great. We have some cleanup to do, but it's easy to coach, or it's much easier to coach, I should say, when you're flying around, you're practicing hard, and you're not coaching effort. So we moved the needle today in our program, believe it or not. It's a small victory, but it's something we can build upon.
All right, next we will go to Eric Quiakowski. Eric, your microphone is open.
Good morning, Coach. Eric Quiakowski, Call to Action podcast. You mentioned the youth of your program right now. Does that kind of impact the way you approach the season in terms of developing your team?
There's no question about it. It's as different as I've ever been a part of. I can't tell you a program that I've been a part of that has this much youth, and we're going to be even younger next year, particularly with having the ability to bring everyone back. The majority of our team will be 4th and 5th year guys. And it is right now, but it'll even be even more so the following year. So there's some good and bad about that. The good thing is that we're going to be young and talented. The bad thing is that we're young and talented. There's no experience. So we got some time that we need to use to get our place back. But if we continue to work day in and day out, we'll get this thing back to the standards and expectations that we've always had here at Bowling Green. Will it happen overnight? No. But this 6 weeks we're approaching totally different. We're gonna practice as physical as we've ever practiced because we got to teach these young players how to play physical. So it's different. There's no doubt about it. But just like I said to Jeremy and Todd, we're gonna look back at this thing and go. When we're ready to win, we're going to look back and go, those COVID 6 weeks were really important to our program.
And you get to open the season on ESPNU, an awesome platform for these young guys. Just talk about that, opportunity and the experience your guys will get from that.
Yeah, it's going to be great for them. And, there's going to be some battles that are going to be won in that game. There's going to be battles that are going to be lost. And every rep that we take, good, bad, or indifferent, it's gonna help us for the future. And our guys are excited to play Toledo. There's no doubt about it. They're a great program. They've won. They've been consistent. And we're gonna go up there very similar to what we did last year. We're gonna play with a ton of emotion. We're gonna play as hard as we possibly can play. It's gonna be the team that obviously can take care of the football, run the ball, and control the explosion battle. It's gonna win. And it's a great opportunity to play such a great university.
Coach, we have time for one more question, so I'll ask it. But, with so much changing just before and currently, and you don't know what tomorrow will bring, how do you go about keeping your guys focused through this time, whatever comes up?
Yeah, you touched upon it. And the question that you asked is a great question. It's a minute to minute, day to day deal. Like we just literally worry about getting from the 4th period to the 5th period. We worry about after practice being able to go into the training room and properly take care of our body, or the weight room. It's a day to day deal, and we approach it that way. We try to do our best with the social distancing. We try to do our best off the field with our guys. We've, knock on wood, have been very fortunate to have very little exposure to the virus, but we also know that can change overnight. It's fascinating as coaches to be game planning, and then all of a sudden, the day before the game, you could be changing every personnel grouping to fit to be able to play. So football's challenging, as we all know. It's hard to win. The great places that I've been around, when we've won, it's hard to win. It's hard to win at any level. And you put this on top of it, it really challenges you as a coach and as players. So we're doing a good job day to day. And, if we can do that, we'll continue to move the needle of our program.
Great. Well, Coach Loeffler, again, thanks for taking the time this morning, and best of luck to you this upcoming season, and we'll look forward to watching you Wednesday night.
Great. I really appreciate it, Jeremy. Thank you so much.
Take care.
See you.
Next, we will bring on head coach of the Akron Zips, Tom Arth. see here. I think we.
All right, can you guys hear us?
We got you.
We're
We
here.
got you, Coach.
Okay.
Well, hey, thanks for taking the time. Looks like you may have either come off the field or maybe you're heading on the field there.
Yeah, no, we just finished up. Finished up. So.
Well, you know,
here in Northeast Ohio today.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, thanks for taking the time, and just
Absolutely.
I've been asking every coach to lead off here with just what it means to you to be finally getting ready for a football game on Wednesday night with all the ups and downs.
Yeah, it's exciting. This has been such a different year for all of us in so many ways, and it's presented so many new challenges that I don't think anybody could have ever anticipated or certainly ever expected to have to deal with. But you know, I think there's also been a lot of really great positives that have come out of these past 6 months, and you know, we've tried to take full advantage of each and every opportunity that we've been given, and understanding that the situation has changed for us multiple times, and it's just, hey, what's next for us? But to be in a position right now where we're less than a week away from playing a game is just so exciting for our team, our players, our coaches, everybody involved and who supports our program. When you have something that you think is gone, and you don't think you're going to be playing this year, to then have that brought back to you, I think it just really it reminds you to not take anything for granted, and to appreciate every opportunity that you have to compete and to play the game that you love. So we're very excited, for this challenge and for this opportunity, and can't wait for Wednesday.
Sure. Again, if you have a question for Coach Art, please use the raise hand feature, and I will call on you. First, we'll go to Eric Quiakowski. Eric, your microphone is open.
Good morning, Coach. Eric Quiakowski, Call to Action podcast. You're now entering year 2 of coaching your program. Talk about the continued development of your culture and the major differences you've kind of seen going from year 1 to year 2.
Absolutely. I appreciate that question, Eric. And, we've seen a lot. We've seen so much growth, and, really it goes back to the winter time for us when we came back to campus in January with our team, after the season, and, kind of getting ready here for 2020. Our guys came in with such an incredible mindset, their attitude, their effort, the competitive spirit that they brought every single day. It was noticeably different. I think every person involved in the program felt it. I know that every player in the program felt it, and it was a lot of fun, to be around that and to be a part of that, and to see our guys like show up every single day, bright and early in the morning, whether it's cold out, whatever the situation is, no matter what the work was for the day, to show up with a great attitude, prepared to give extraordinary effort, and with a competitive spirit, to attack, each and every day, was really exciting for us. And we came right out of that winter program, and felt like we had so much momentum heading into spring ball, and that was right about the point where where everything got shut down, and we were sent home. So it was a bit of a letdown initially, but you recalibrate and realized, okay, well, what now is the plan? What's going to put us in the best position for, when we do return? And there was so much unknown, but I thought our players handled that challenge really well. And, ultimately we were able to get them back here in July, and, you kind of getting them back into the swing of things. And, since we've been able to start practice here in these, past month, that it's been, I can tell you, like, every single practice that we had, we got better, and we worked hard. Again, everything that I saw in the winter in terms of the attitude and the effort that we played with, the way we competed at practice, was outstanding. So, when you talk about like the culture of your program, and you talk about the things that are most important to building, a successful program, and building the foundation to be able to do that, I think a lot of those things are really starting to take root. And And again, we're excited to see what that leads to, for us this season. We know we have, some great challenges ahead, in our schedule. But, for us, it's about, doing the things that it takes to be successful every single day. And I think our players have really bought into that. And I think our players have done that, up to this point. And I look forward to them continuing to do so.
You talked about a little bit about the competitive spirit of these guys. Who are some of the newcomers that you've kind of seen in camp, take that next step, and who can we expect to make an immediate impact for you guys?
Well, I think there's a number of them. For us, there were a lot of newcomers, and we had a number of players that came in mid-year for us this year. And while they were able to work out and all those things, we still had never seen them practice until, a few weeks ago. So, really trying to figure out who these guys are. You kind of see the athleticism in the workouts, and you see, some of the, what they might be capable of, but until you get them out there, you don't really know. And, trying to figure out what, how the pieces fit together and the roles, that each individual player can excel in, and how you piece that together, building your team has been really interesting and really different for us this year. But I think, we've managed it well. And, there's so many new guys in our program that we are excited about. You talk about, some of the young players, as you mentioned. I think, one guy to keep an eye on is Michael Snowden. Michael Snowden's an inside linebacker for us from Pittsburgh, true freshman. And I'll tell you, this guy has just got, an incredible motor. He's got an incredible mindset and work ethic. In fact, I'll share a brief story. I mean, the guy had class. I'm losing track of days. Today's like Monday for me. It's like a game day or a game week Monday. So 2 days ago was our last practice prior to today, and he had class. And, he left practice, early to go to class. And, he goes to class. Apparently, his teacher, they let him out early. The guy's running back. We see him with about 10 minutes left in practice. He's running back to the stadium, running down the steps, like trying to strap up his pads, putting his ankle braces on, like coming back to practice. And, like to do that, I think says a lot about you. I think most people, in that circumstance would probably say, okay, I got out early. I'm going to go grab some lunch and, head back to the room. But, Mike came back and was like, shoot, I can probably get there before practice ends, maybe get a few more reps. And that's going to make me better. And I tell you, like that told me so much about him and, his mindset and his mentality. And he's one of those guys that, we're gonna build around, in the future of this program. So, and there's many more, but Mike is definitely one to keep an eye on.
Coach, again, if you have a question for Coach, use the raise hand feature. Zach, we will go to you. Your microphone is open, Zach.
Coach, wanted to ask you about kind of the other side of the fence there with one of your veteran leaders in Cato Nelson. He's been around the program for a while now, played in some big games for the program. Can you talk about how you having a veteran leader like that helps out when you have so many young guys in so many spots?
Certainly. And you look at guys like Cato, you look at guys like Nate Stewart, Bubba Arslanian, guys that have they've played a lot of football here at the University of Akron. And, for us, there's not many more, beyond that. We're such a young team, but, those guys have really been outstanding leaders. And, specifically, speaking to Cato, there hasn't been a practice that's gone by that Cato has just not been all over the field, trying to, coach up young wide receivers, coach up young tight ends, coaching up our young quarterbacks. He's been outstanding. And, I've had other coaches, come back to me after practice and, if Cato was down, with in a period with the offensive line, I'll have Coach Z, our O-line coach, come over and say, Coach, like Cato was unbelievable, down here in 9-on-7 or, whatever the period was. And, and we need that, we need that from Cato. We need our veteran players. We need our players with experience and, that have played in big games here to really step up in that way. And, to help bring along, some of the new players that we have in the program, and especially those young guys. So Cato's been awesome in that regard, and so have our other veterans.
Any other questions for Coach? Use the raise hand feature. I'll wait for one more question if we have any media calling. But Coach, just I've been asking coaches yesterday and today just what it means, whether you're on a linear game platform or whether you're on a digital platform, just the ability and the exposure that the conference is going to get here. And this is the max month. It's always been the max month, and to just be on display in these games, as the month continues, what's that mean to you guys?
Oh, well, it's fantastic. There's a reason why we do this, and there's a reason why the relationship that the MAC has with with our television partners is so strong, and it is such an outstanding opportunity for our program to gain great exposure. It's an outstanding opportunity for the young men out there on the field to really showcase their talent and their ability, and what Mid-American Conference football is all about. And I know that I have friends all over the country, family all over the country, and every week we're getting texts from everybody talking about how they watch the game and all those things. So it's such a great thing for our league. It's so great for every single one of our programs, and especially for our players that have that chance to perform on national television.
Awesome. Well, Coach, want to thank you once again for getting out of the cold here and taking some time with us. Best of luck this upcoming season, and we'll see you Wednesday night.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.